yo.
Siege. I know you want to talk about Alabama, but wait, maybe you don't want to talk about Alabama.
Guy Aiden Weaver. I want to talk about the sharpshooter. Everyone kept telling me how good of a sharpshooter he was, and I said, I know. To be honest, I don't think he got enough chances in the prep level to show how good of a shooter he is. He looked great then. I want to talk about Aiden Weaver. Sure.
Don't you try and deny how they almost blew that game. We can talk about Aiden Weaver. The dude can shoot. We all knew he could shoot. He finally got a chance. That awful ass zone they run left him open in the left hand corner. I'm sure Coach had him coached up, but Bama, that was not a good closeout to that game, Siege.
Whatever. Here's the thing, yo. A dub's a dub. There's things. No, I mean, yeah, it wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, great win. It was a win. It wasn't a great win. But also, what you saw on the other end was a top 10 SWBA pick just taking over in Richard Pizarski. That's what you saw. You saw a guy who's hard to guard. You saw a guy he's showing you why he's a top 10 SWBA pick. Richard Pizarski's a stud. Incredibly efficient night for him. He was able to take over the game when it was needed. And, I mean, he's a stud. He's an absolute stud. But a win's a win at the end of the day. You're going to look back at that game at the end of the year, and you're not going to say, oh, they almost blew it. You're going to say they won that one. So, I mean, that's the bottom line. But bottom line is I've been trying to tell people about this Pizarski kid deal. I've been trying to tell people.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about him. Everyone likes to talk about Phenom. Don't even get me started, though. It's like everybody just forgot that SimWorld U ever existed before the freshman class of prep got there. You know I love prep. That's a foundational piece for us and everything, but life occurred before SimWorld prep kids made it to SimWorld U, and Pizarski was one of those dudes. Along with your guy, I mean, they finished it out. Dwan Epps, hey, game-saving rebound. Can you say 90s basketball? Like, he's been around. Everybody, Rick Blaze likes to talk DJ Child's world. Could I do a bad impression of Maestro doing a bad impression of Rick? Is that what I just did?
Yeah, I think I'd like to hear it. I think it's
that's my bad impersonation of Maestro doing a bad impersonation of Rick.
That is exactly what you said it was going to be.
But yeah, I mean, Dwan Epps is that guy. He's been leading that team. It's not pretty. It's not highlights. It's grab a game-winning rebound and put it back up for the finish. It's contest in the middle. It's patrol the lane. It's do the dirty work, and while scoring 14 of the most lackluster points a game that you'll ever see.
I mean, look, I'm going to say this, and I think some casuals are going to hate it, and I think those prep junkies, like, they would hate to hear me say this. I think you'll get where I'm coming from. But to me, the most important part of that Bama team is not DJ Childs. I think that team takes a bigger hit if they lose Dwan Epps or Quincy Henderson than if they were to go without DJ Childs for a while. And that's not to say DJ Childs isn't a great player and won't play in the SWBA. And I honestly think his game is more tailored to the SWBA. I'll be completely honest with you. But Quincy Henderson and Dwan Epps are the anchors of this team. I actually think, and I was watching today, and Coco Bryce got a chance to like get a couple more minutes than we usually see from him. But like he was dishing pretty well. I think he's a freak athlete. He's only a freshman. He'll step in just fine next year, I think, in DJ Child's role. In fact, he's a bigger guard. He's a better defender. I think he will step in. I'm not saying he's a better player than DJ Child, so don't come at me about any of that. But I do think he'll step in just fine to that role next year, unless they go recruit a star point guard, someone who's more of a true point guard. But I think we saw tonight, he can dish the rock just fine. So, I mean, that Bama team is so much more than just DJ Childs, and I don't even think DJ Childs is the most important component of that team.
No. You won't get an argument from me. What do you want me to say? You want me to argue with you? It's not happening. It's not happening. I'm not arguing with you. You get no argument from me. But, yeah, they pulled it out. I guess you can hang up dub's a dub. That was a terrible dub. They hung on last minute.
You gotta learn to win through adversity. You learn that early in the season. When you get late in hoop stereo, you know how to do it. So I mean, there's silver lining to everything.
So, I really obviously just want to get your opinion in on this. I don't have much to say. I don't have much of an opinion. But after watching Kentucky take their first L to Louisville, yes, here's the thing, because they talk about it on the broadcast, like, rivalry games, anything can happen. You know, it's the worst team, whatever, Poulius, you know, DeMarco Grant. You got guys on there, but that's rivalry games. People get up for that. And Kentucky, okay, first loss of the season, and did not look very good, to be honest. But right after that, on the heels of that, you would say, okay, you need to see a dominating win from Duke. Oh, Duke has a night off. Bama's up. Bama's playing Michigan. Michigan's ranked 22, but Alabama's a much better team than Michigan, in my opinion. I think Alabama's a much better team than Michigan. I think everybody would say that. And for them to not control that game in that way, how do you move somebody up? When you have a couple of teams that are all at 8, 9, and 10 and 1, Kentucky still holds on to number 1 to me.
No, I think Duke moves up to number 1. Because they're lost. First of all, St. Mary's also a ranked team. I don't think they will be anymore after their streak recently. But that loss was a while ago now. In the grand scheme of things, it was a few games ago. And what we've seen from Duke recently, the poll, you got to kind of go by week what's going on. And right now, to me, Duke is the number 1 team, especially after that last game we saw from them last night. They're the number 1 team to me, especially because their loss was not on their own home floor. A loss on your home floor is a big loss. Also, Louisville's 22, Michigan is 13. Let's not undervalue this Michigan team. But yes, Alabama should have looked better. You could say that. The 13th team in the country is it's not a bad win. It's a great win. But to me, Duke is the number 1 team in the country after that. After Kentucky falling the way they did, not looking completely with it. Yes, it's a rivalry game, but number 1 team in the country on your home court, you're supposed to get up for the rivalry game too. And they got up to, I don't know how you want to say it, but like,
what? You said they got up.
You heard me?
All right, I'm with it. All right, okay.
See, right now it's Duke, and then I think I think it's got to go, and you're going to say it's because whatever, my bias, but like I think 2's got to go to Bama. They just beat the 13th team in the country. Kentucky's first. I will say Kentucky State is 3 above Gonzaga.
That's wild. I can't, clearly you're a Bama fan. I think that is wild. I think that's a wild statement.
You are wildly undervaluing the 13th team in the country. Like, you are wildly undervaluing. This is college basketball. The difference between 3 and 13 is, like, not that crazy. Like, there's a lot of teams in the system.
Michigan's not 13. They're 22, aren't they?
No, Louisville's 22.
Oh, okay.
That's why I try to tell you. Michigan's 13. Michigan's the 13th ranked team in the country. Louisville's 22, who Kentucky lost to on their home court. So
I'm not going to fight with you about this all night. I have 2 things I would like to say. LSU sucks. You want to talk about Creighton and Texas A&M? LSU still sucks.
On a 3-game win streak. Give them some credit.
Okay.
Top guys. Donald said he's a freak of nature, and
you know I love DIY. That's my guy, DIY.
Yeah, LSU. All I'm saying is Jay Slaughter and Akeem Young are looking very good. They are getting progressively better chemistry-wise and playing together, and they look very good. The 2 of them as a duo. So that's all I'll say about LSU. Do I still think they suck? I mean, yes, LSU. They're not that good. They're not. But I'm going to give them a little credit for the win streak. But I really don't want to talk about Creighton because my man Ethan Letterman is doing everything he can. I don't know if you saw that one highlight. I saw it on social media, but he hit the nastiest step-back 3 on Tyrone Moore. It was one of the most gross things I've ever seen. Went 5 for 5 from the 3-point line, 25 points, had a career day in his young career, but a career day.
So I don't know if you watch roasts or not. I love them. I think you talk about. I love like the Comedy Central roast, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like all the different roast series, and you're saying all of that. And one of the funniest roasts ever. I really like the roast master that holds it, where they host it, and I think it was like Snoop Dogg or somebody. I don't know whoever's normally on there, Jeff Giraldo. Who's the fat dude who's on all the roasts? You know his name?
No, I don't know his name, but I know exactly.
He's a Jewish dude. He's really ugly too. I can't remember his name. Wifey remembers his name. He does all the roasts, and they always have me dresses up and all that. So the dude that was the host, he said this, and this is what I think about Ethan Littlman's game today. Right? And I love him. I love his game. I love, like, he's really grown his game a lot too. But here's what the host said after that comedian got up there on the roast and killed it, and he tore the crowd down, tore the crowd down, tore the house down, however you say it. The host got back on the stage, and let's say the dude's name is Jeff Giraldo. He said, again, Jeff Giraldo killed again, and again it will lead to nothing. I'm just saying, bro, like, Ethan Littlman, he's a hooper. I don't know when he's going to lead the wins. I don't know what led him to Creighton. I don't know. I think he's got a bright future ahead, but I don't think that turns that team around. Like, you can talk about the beautiful setback all you want. It's the equivalent of the Jordan Poole highlights. Well, let me not call him Jordan Poole, because Jordan Poole is garbage. You know how I feel about it. But it's the equivalent of, like, the empty highlights from T-Mac out in Orlando, which I know you know that very well.
I'll tell you exactly what it's the equivalent of. It's that clip of Chris Paul hitting that three and, like, staring the bench down. And he's like, Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut the lead to 29. Like,
cut the lead to 29.
It's such a exact score was, but it's such a great clip. It's so funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a good night of basketball. I'll just say that I'm really enjoying the SimWorld U season so far. So,
electric night.
You're lying. You're wrong about Alabama. Look, you know who I'm doing my March impersonation right now. You don't. Whatever, man. You want to talk about anything else, or can I go get myself a drink?
No, I think you've earned one.
Cheers.
Cheers.